Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a little bit of a different video. We are going to try to do the 10 years ago makeup versus how I do my makeup now, which is why I have no makeup on. I did just film another video, so I took it all off, so my skin might be a little bit red from that, but let's just move past that. I saw a couple people do this video and I thought this was really interesting, and honestly I didn't even think about doing my own version because I was like, oh, my makeup hasn't changed that much in 10 years. Typically, I'm a creature of habit. If I like something, I'll just continue to use it. I mean, obviously with my YouTube channel now, I do try more products than I probably normally would if I weren't doing YouTube videos. I didn't even think about doing this video until my cousin was like, you need to do this video. Your makeup was so different 10 years ago. And I had to stop and think, and I was like, damn, you're right. Before we start getting into the makeup, 10 years ago, I was working at Sephora. I had just started working in the makeup industry. The makeup trends back then were so different. I worked in Sephora, so when you're working in a cosmetic store with all those brands, you try different products, you try different brands, you do your makeup a little bit more and extra than you would day to day. Like now, when I work a corporate job, I would never wear that makeup to work. Let me just shut up and show you a couple pictures that I found. As you can see from these pictures, I really liked a bold lip. I also had my lip piercing, so that's the little black dot you see underneath my lip. I had really thin brows. I typically, you can't tell from these pictures, but I typically would double my lashes. I wore full coverage foundation, and that's just to name a few of the few different things that I do now. So as you can tell from these pictures, I definitely do my makeup different, but there are some things that I do the same. So let me just shut up and let's start the makeup. Let's start off with primer. This side of my face I'm going to do 10 years ago, and this side of my face is going to be how I do my makeup now. And just for reference, in case I didn't know, I do have my picture pulled up on my phone. I've always been oily, so that really hasn't changed much. So I've always loved this Makeup Forever primer. It's really sticky, it's thick. So this is going on my 10 years ago, even though I still pretty much use it. But as of recently, I haven't been grabbing it just because I do want something with more of a slip. And I don't know why I'm using my left hand, like I can only use my left hand on that side of the face. More recently, I love the Tatcha Liquid Silk Canvas. So this one isn't necessarily mattifying, but it does have more of like a lotion texture than the Makeup Forever one. What the heck is that? This one has a little bit more moisture to it. Now for foundation. This is where it has really changed. When I was working at Sephora, I would mix 2 to 3 full coverage foundations together. I've used Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Skin since I started working at Sephora, so I'm going to go ahead and use this, and I'm going to mix the Too Faced Born This Way matte foundation, and this would give me like full coverage, can't see your pores. Basically, we want to not be able to see your skin at all through your foundation. I would always use a beauty blender, or I would use a flat top sort of foundation brush, which I still love this brush. Don't get me wrong, I still love it, but I don't use it with like full coverage foundations now, you know? I love these kind of brushes because it's a fast way of putting on foundation, and it blends it really easily. Very hard just to do half of your face. Next, we are going to do this side of the face, and I've been loving Rare Beauty's foundation. Just in general now, I still have oily skin, but recently I've been loving just skin-like foundations that are super light on the skin and have not like a glow to it, because again, like I said, I'm oily, but something that just has a natural finish rather than like a very flat matte foundation. I'm going to use my Rare Beauty foundation brush with that. A little bit more than that. I'm hoping you guys can tell on camera, but in person I can definitely looks and feels like I have foundation on this side. You know, I can kind of see some texture on my skin. It just looks heavier. And this side, it just kind of looks like my skin, but you know, with coverage on it. Next up is concealer. And honestly, I'm not using the same products that I used 10 years ago, but I'm just using it in the way that I used to. So I still love my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer, but I'm going to put it on how I used to. Like so. And now on this side, I'm just going to use my Hourglass Vanish Concealer in Apricot and just apply a little bit on the inner corner and just a little bit on the outer corner. And this is a lighter coverage concealer, more of a natural finish than a matte finish. And the color, this color is a little bit more skin-like. We are getting it somewhere. Next up for this side, I'm just going to set my face with Studio Fix powder. And on this side, we're going to use the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet powder. Just enough till I set it. For brows, I don't know how I'm going to do it because my brows are or were ombre powder filled, but I used to use just powder for my brows, and I would go pretty thin. And I would go like dark all the way at the front. And I wouldn't clean it up or anything like I with concealer underneath. And now for this brow, I use my Anastasia Dip Brow in medium brown, but I just use a little bit of it. So for my brows that I do nowadays, it's pretty thick. It's a lot thicker than it used to be. There's more of an arch, and then I don't go super dark on the inner corner. I also clean up my brow a little bit with concealer underneath. Moving on to shadow, I feel like the main difference is that I typically use browns and mattes now, but I used to do the same technique. I'm going to use some soft brown from MAC. Going to deepen the outer corner. Just going to use the same palette for both eyes. Really smoke out the outer corner. I would go pretty dark before. I'm going to dip into some black shadow right here. I remember I would always, no matter what browns I would put, I would always finish off the look with some black shadow on the outer corner. So most of my looks were pretty smoky, like pretty dark. Next, we're going to add a shimmery, like metallic shadow for the lid. My go-tos were like these two kind of colors right here. Let's go with this one right here. And then I would just go back in with some dark browns and black. Then I would just finish off with a matte highlight shade under the brow. I'm basically just going to mimic my Makeup by Mario video that I just did. I'm just going to use all mattes from this palette. That has just been my go-to look, is just using matte browns. So I first just kind of do a crease color, and then I work to the outer corner. Okay, so we should have something like this. As you can see, my color is more concentrated, like higher above than the outer corner. I mean, I still have color in the outer corner, but I definitely work more on the crease. A matte neutral shade, and just kind of use that to brighten up the lid. And then of course, same thing, I'm just going to use a matte skin tone highlight shade. Typically, before I would stack 2 different lashes so that I could get like a full winged look, but I don't do that anymore. I'm going to apply these lashes, which are Goddess by Koko Lashes, on my left side, and on my right side I'm going to apply Tokyo Lily lashes, and I'll be right back. Alright, lashes are on. Before I used to be really heavy and just like weigh my eyelashes down because it was just way too heavy for my eyes. But now I like fluffier, wispier lashes that look more natural, but they just kind of look like lash extensions rather than false lashes. Now we're gonna do the under eyes, and I always smoked it out, so I still do that. Black liner on the left eye and brown liner on the right eye. And honestly, most of the time, I don't even do brown liner. I will just do a shadow and then that's it. I'm going to set and smoke out the liner. And then I would smoke out this side with like a very warm brown. I'm trying to remember how I did my bronzer because I feel like I've been just doing it the same my whole life, but I feel like I just did bronzer. So I just did a lot of bronzer. I don't know what's going on with my face right here. I think that's like my primer or foundation. So day to day, I typically just do that, do bronzer, but I thought I'll do my bronzer and contour, which is just my Smashbox. First I warm up my cheeks, and then I do a little bit of contour underneath. And for blush, I'm just going to use the same for both sides. I'm going to use Peaches by MAC. I feel like, honestly, I have just done my blush the same way always. And then, this is the surprising thing. I used to not wear a highlighter 10 years ago because I was, just getting into makeup, and I thought that putting on highlighter would make me more oily or make me look more oily. So I just kept it very matte and flat on this side. So I'm going to go in with MAC's Oh Darling highlight on the right side. I hope you guys can see a difference between the two. The last step is the lips, which I feel like is the main difference. 10 years ago, I would wear any bright color that was on the shelf. Purple, pink, orange, red, anything, you name it, I loved it. I'm the very complete opposite now, and I will not wear anything other than nude. And to prove it, I still have the lip liner from like when I was working at Sephora. It's the Makeup Forever lip liners, and I don't use them now, but I loved all the bright colors. But look at how tiny this lip liner is. I don't even have any nude lip liners that are like this small. We are going to use a MAC lip liner in Magenta. I would fill it in to make sure that like if my lipstick came off, my color would still stay on. Next, we're going to use the Smashbox lipstick in Inspiration. Still love Makeup Forever lip liners, it's just different now. I'm gonna use Total Taupe and then Day Slayer by Huda Beauty. Here it is, my 10-year versus how I do my makeup now. I wish I had like the type of lashes that I would use before, because I feel like that made a huge difference. It would just be like Ardell lashes, like ones that were really long with wispies on top, so it would like just made it wispy and long. Comment down below which one you like better. Does it look like any difference? Does it? I also feel like it's just hard because I have a technique of how I do my makeup now, and so to like revert to how I did my makeup 10 years ago, I just kind of feel like it still uses my technique of how I do it now. Either way, I hope you guys liked this video. Comment down below any makeup that you used to wear or you used to do 10 years ago. I'm so interested to see how other people were wearing makeup 10 years ago, because I definitely was wearing way more makeup 10 years ago. And when I was 18, first starting at Sephora, people would always mistake me for 25, 26. I even got 28 one time when I was 18. And I think that I was just wearing like so much makeup that it made me look, that it aged me. And so now that I'm like in those ages that they thought I was, I'm definitely trying to wear less makeup so I don't look even older. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I upload videos every Tuesday and Friday, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys. Heard like, ugh, like a lipstick. I saw a couple